As the pieces come together, the bigger picture starts to form. For years, Dr. Simone Whitmore and Dr. Heavenly Kimes have shared a relationship that constantly teetered between friendship and rivalry. They've laughed together, exchanged heated words, and attempted to mend fences time and time again. But beneath it all, there was always an underlying tension, a friction that neither could ignore for long. At first, it seemed harmless, small jabs and casual remarks that could be brushed off as jokes. But Heavenly kept pushing the narrative, over and over again. Simone tried to keep her composure. She laughed it off, rolled her eyes, and gave Heavenly the benefit of the doubt. But when the comments became more pointed, when the topic of divorce became an almost obsessive talking point, it became clear that something deeper was at play. Heavenly wasn't just joking. She wasn't just being messy. She was testing Simone. Over time, Heavenly made a habit of insinuating things about Simone's marriage, things that weren't true, things that weren't being discussed within the group, things that had no business being brought up. She made shady comments about Simone's relationship with her husband, Cecil, hinting at problems that didn't even exist. She brought up divorce even when the conversation had nothing to do with Simone at all. At first, it seemed like typical Heavenly behavior, loud, unfiltered, and controversial. But then, it became clear, this was calculated. And Simone wasn't the only one who noticed. The other ladies started picking up on it, too. Every time the topic of marriage came up, Heavenly somehow managed to steer it toward divorce, as if she were waiting, almost hoping, for someone to admit their relationship was failing. And let's not forget, Heavenly never liked Cecil. That was another layer to the drama. She never hid the fact that she had strong opinions about Simone's husband. She didn't approve of how he spoke out, disliked how he responded to the ladies' drama, and wasn't afraid to say she didn't respect him. So, when she started making divorce comments about Simone, it wasn't coming from nowhere. But here's the craziest part, what if Heavenly's obsession with divorce wasn't about Simone at all? People who fixate on a topic over and over usually have a personal connection to it. Could it be that Heavenly saw something in her own marriage that made her hyper-focused on divorce? Was she struggling with something behind closed doors that made her project her fears onto everyone else? Or was it all just a deflection, a way to avoid addressing her own reality by stirring up drama in someone else's? Whatever the case, one thing was certain, Simone had had enough. For too long, she had let it slide. She had ignored the comments, avoided the arguments, and taken the high road. But not anymore. This time, Simone wasn't letting Heavenly get away with it. And when the confrontation finally happened, it changed everything. Dr. Heavenly Kimes has built her brand on controversy. She's never been one to bite her tongue. She prides herself on being blunt, straightforward, and unapologetic. If she has a thought, she says it, whether it's appropriate or not, whether it's true or not, whether it destroys a friendship or not. That's just who she is. And for the longest time, the women of Married to Medicine have tolerated it. They've accepted that Heavenly is going to be messy, that she's going to stir the pot, and that she's going to say things most people wouldn't dare say out loud. But there's one topic she just can't seem to let go of, divorce. Again and again, she has made it her mission to call out other people's marriages. She's done it to Simone and Cecil. She's done it to Toya and Eugene. She's made snide remarks about other cast members' relationships whenever given the chance. And when she gets called out, she laughs it off. She claims she's just keeping it real. She says people are taking her jokes too seriously. But here's the problem, Heavenly's words aren't just jokes. They're calculated. They're pointed. They're meant to hit a nerve. Even though Simone and Cecil have worked through their past marital struggles and are now in a solid place, Heavenly keeps bringing up divorce like she's waiting for it to happen. Why? At first, it seemed like another messy habit of hers. But the more she did it, the more obvious it became, this wasn't just random gossip. This was something deeper. Because let's be honest, when someone keeps bringing up a particular topic over and over, there's usually a personal reason behind it. Could it be that Heavenly sees something in her own marriage she won't admit? Could it be that she's projecting her own fears, her own insecurities, her own struggles onto the other women? For years, Heavenly has painted the image of having the perfect marriage. She constantly brags about how much her husband, Dr. Damon Kimes, loves her. How strong their relationship is. How they've built an empire together. But behind closed doors, no one really knows what's going on. And if reality TV has taught us anything, it's this: the loudest ones, the ones who scream the hardest about how perfect their marriage is, are often the ones hiding the most. So the question remains, is Heavenly exposing cracks in Simone's marriage, or is she really exposing something about her own? One thing is for sure, Simone isn't letting this go anymore. And when she finally confronts Heavenly, it will be a moment no one sees coming. Simone had listened to Heavenly run her mouth about divorce for months, about her marriage, about other women's relationships, about every single topic she had no business discussing. For months, Simone bit her tongue. She tried to take the high road, avoiding giving Heavenly the attention she craved. But then it happened again. In yet another group conversation, Heavenly found a way to bring up divorce. Casually, of course, but with that same smugness, that same instigating energy Simone had come to expect. This time, Simone wasn't letting it slide. At first, she addressed it calmly but firmly. She let Heavenly know that her marriage to Cecil was private, sacred, and not up for discussion, especially not by someone with an obvious agenda. But Heavenly, being Heavenly, wasn't about to back down. She smirked, rolled her eyes, and brushed it off. "Oh girl, I was just talking," she probably said with a laugh. "Ain't nobody trying to come for you." But Simone wasn't having it. That's when she hit Heavenly with the truth, the real truth that had been bubbling beneath the surface for far too long. "Heavenly, you are the last person who should be giving advice about marriage," Simone shot back, her voice steady but sharp. And just like that, the energy in the room shifted. Because the reality was this: Heavenly had spent so much time judging other people's relationships, but she had never once been honest about her own. She had mocked Simone's marriage. She had criticized other women's husbands. She had acted like she had all the answers. But when was the last time she looked at her own situation? Simone wasn't the only one who had noticed the cracks forming in Heavenly's supposedly perfect marriage. There had been whispers, moments where Heavenly avoided certain questions, where she brushed off conversations that got too deep, where she changed the subject when her own relationship was put under the microscope. And so Simone called her out. "You keep bringing up divorce like you're waiting for mine to happen," she continued. "But let's be real, maybe you should be paying a little more attention to your own marriage instead of talking about mine." Silence. Because for the first time in a long time, Dr. Heavenly Kimes had nothing to say. Whenever someone dares to ask Heavenly about her own marriage, she immediately shuts them down. So, what's really going on? Because let's be honest, if someone is truly happy in their relationship, they're not obsessing over other people's divorces, constantly hinting at breakups, or inserting themselves into conversations that don't concern them. Could it be that Heavenly is overcompensating? Is she using Simone's marriage as a shield to avoid discussing what's happening in her own home? And if so, what exactly is she hiding? Or is it simply that she enjoys stirring the pot? After all, Heavenly has built her entire brand on being messy, blunt, and brutally honest. She's the queen of shade, the master of drama, and she knows exactly how to get under people's skin. And what's the best way to do that? Attack what matters most, their marriage. Because one thing is certain: nothing triggers someone faster than questioning their relationship. But here's the real twist: Heavenly has been all too comfortable dissecting other people's marriages. Yet, when the spotlight turns to her own, she clams up. Why is that? Why does she have so much to say about other couples but refuses to discuss her own? One thing is becoming clear: maybe Heavenly's obsession with divorce isn't about Simone at all. Maybe, just maybe, it's about herself. Now, things have escalated. The moment Dr. Simone Whitmore finally snapped at Dr. Heavenly Kimes, the energy in the room shifted. This wasn't just another petty argument or small misunderstanding. This was years of tension erupting all at once. For the longest time, Heavenly had been pushing boundaries, testing Simone's patience, and repeatedly throwing shade about divorce. But now, Simone had enough. The big question is, who's really on Simone's side? The cast is split. Some completely understand why Simone had to put Heavenly in her place. They've seen Heavenly's pattern of reckless comments, stirring up drama, and then playing it off as a joke. To them, Simone had every right to stand up for herself and set the record straight. But then, there are those who hesitate. The way Simone came for Heavenly wasn't just a clapback, it was an exposure. She didn't just check Heavenly for her constant gossiping, she flipped the script and put the focus on Heavenly's own marriage. And when that happened, Heavenly didn't seem so confident anymore. Did Simone hit too close to home? When Heavenly is throwing shade at someone else, she's loud, bold, and unapologetic. But this time, she was caught off guard, and her silence spoke volumes. Because let's be real, when someone talks a big game but suddenly goes quiet when the same energy is directed at them, it usually means there's truth to what's being said. Now, some cast members aren't even mad at Simone, they're just worried about what comes next. This feud is far from over. If there's one thing everyone knows about Heavenly, it's that she doesn't take losses lightly. She might have been stunned in the moment, but trust and believe, she's going to fire back. And when she does, it won't be pretty. Heavenly isn't just going to let this go, she's going to regroup, come up with a response, and make sure Simone feels the heat just as much as she did. And the scariest part? This might just be the beginning. Meanwhile, the internet is in an uproar. The moment Dr. Simone and Dr. Heavenly's confrontation aired, social media erupted. Fans flooded Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, sharing their opinions, receipts, and debates over who was right and who was dead wrong. Because this wasn't just another argument, this was a moment. And when reality TV delivers a moment like this, the internet runs wild. A huge wave of fans is siding with Simone. They've watched Heavenly stir up drama for years, attacking marriages, spreading rumors, and then pretending it was all just jokes. But now, she's finally getting a taste of her own medicine. Fans are commenting. Simone ate that. She was tired of the disrespect and let Heavenly have it. Heavenly should have known better. She's been dragging marriages for years. The way she suddenly got quiet when Simone clapped back? Yeah, she wasn't ready for this. Simone didn't just defend herself, she exposed Heavenly's hypocrisy. However, not everyone agrees. Some fans believe Simone went too far, arguing that Heavenly was just joking and that Simone overreacted. Others say, Heavenly jokes like this all the time. If Simone is so secure in her marriage, why is she so mad? Y'all are reading too much into this. Heavenly wasn't trying to be malicious. Simone should have just brushed it off instead of making a huge deal out of it. And now, the feud has extended beyond the show. What started as drama between Simone and Heavenly has turned into a full-blown internet war. Friendships are being tested, lines are being drawn, and no one is backing down. But here's where it gets even wilder, fans are digging deeper. They're pulling up old clips of Heavenly talking about other people's marriages, analyzing her words, and questioning if there's a hidden truth behind her constant divorce talk. And now, the pressure is on. Both Simone and Heavenly have no choice but to respond, and when they do, social media will explode all over again. This fight might have just changed everything. The moment Dr. Simone Whitmore snapped and confronted Dr. Heavenly Kimes sent shockwaves through the group. This wasn't just a petty disagreement, it was years of tension, shade, and unspoken resentment boiling over. And now, there's no going back. When you call someone out publicly, it changes things. The group dynamic has officially shifted. The real question is, what happens now? Can Simone and Heavenly ever be friends again? Let's be real, their friendship has always been on shaky ground. They've had their ups and downs, but this time feels different. This wasn't a small disagreement that could be laughed off later. This was personal. This was deep. And now, people are wondering, was this the final straw? Is there any way for them to move past this, or have we just witnessed the end of whatever friendship they had left? Because here's the thing, once you expose someone's hypocrisy in front of everyone, it's hard to come back from that. And let's not forget, Heavenly has a history of holding grudges. She doesn't forgive easily, and she doesn't let things go. So, if anyone thinks she's going to shrug this off, they might want to think again. Will Heavenly finally learn her lesson? For years, she's meddled in people's marriages with shady comments, acting like she's just keeping it real. But now, the tables have turned. She's the one under the microscope, and people want answers. Will she finally take accountability? Will she stop speaking on other people's relationships? Or will she do what she always does, double down and make things even messier? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that Heavenly doesn't back down. If anything, this might push her to be even more reckless. The group is divided, and everyone is picking sides. Now that Simone has put Heavenly on blast, the rest of the cast has to decide where they stand. Some believe it was long overdue and that Simone was right to put Heavenly in her place. Others fear that this will only escalate the situation, creating even more drama.